Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're looking at the RX 350. And before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Lexus here in Murray for giving me some time with this RX. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood we have a turbocharged 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 21 around town and then 28 on the highway, with power outputs being 275 horsepower and then 317 pound-feet of torque. Now before I move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now this one of course is very bright blue, which I thought was pretty striking. Down below you guys can see here with the headlight design, not quite as fancy as the higher end models with the RX with the lights, but still pretty cool looking. Blacked out here at the bottom we do have some fog lights, so the rest of the grille is blacked out. And I think this actually works pretty well with this blue, with the contrast from the blue to the black. Now our turn wheel setup is 235 by 50 by 21 in the front and over in the rear. And you can see here with the wheels you've got that kind of like metallic finish on them, pretty cool looking. Nice chunky fender flare, got your F Sport badge there on the side. Mirror caps blacked out yet again. More of that chrome trim all around the windows. And if we take a few steps back, here's your side profile. This leads us to the key fob where we have our lock and unlock function, opening for the hatch. Got the Lexus logo there on the back as well. And then popping into the rear, we've got a cargo cover built in from the factory. Quite a bit of space back here. And then you can see down below, spare tire, a little bit more storage as well. And then with the seats, notice you can lower them down. And press that button, that will lower the hatch right back down. Got this cool light bar design here on the back. You guys can see the RX 350 badge there, all blacked out at the bottom too. That's all she wrote. Now this leads us inside. It'd been funny if they picked the red interior with this exterior. Anyways, you've got the soft touch up top, you can see down below as well. Here are the seats. Pretty cool looking, right? With everything they've got going on there. Quickly pop in. Legroom's good. Got a storage pocket. We've got vents here in the rear. You can see USB ports as well. And then headroom back here is actually pretty solid. And I do want to say these seats are pretty comfortable. Now this leads us up front, where again we've got the soft touch here at the top. See down below. Pretty nice trim throughout. All of our window controls right here, by the way. Mirror adjustments, mirrors do power fold in. Blind spot monitoring with said mirrors. And then here's the front seat, perforated all down the center portion. I like all the trim, it's pretty nice. Got your adjustments there on the side. Then you can see the memory seat function here. Gas cap release opening for the hatch as well. So taking a look at the steering wheel, we've got nice soft touch trim all around. I like the little wood inserts, those are really nice. Paddle shifters there on the back of the steering wheel. Bunch of practical controls here in the front, including for like our adaptive cruise control and our lane centering, controls for the center stack, volume controls as well. Traditional stocks here on the back. And then you guys can see here with the gauge cluster. So yeah, interesting, you got a different gauge cluster with this RX versus the fancier model. I just did a 500H review before this, so I'm kind of just noting some of the differences. Now there is also a slight change with the gauge cluster when you pop it into sport mode. Not as crazy as the loaded up one where it like goes with the bar across the top. Now this does still come with a nice 360 camera system. This is kind of like an idea of real world glare that can happen depending on the lighting that you have during the time of day. Anyways, as for the rest of the infotainment system, quick response time. As you can see, it's all easy to use, so I think they've done a good job with this whole setup. And then down below we do have the controls for the heated and cooled seats, dual zone climate, little volume control, but yeah, it's all built into this one giant screen unit. Little button for the camera down below, hazard lights here, some vents. Got this little storage area, covers up the phone charging pad. Some little USBs. Cup holders here, it's the shifter for the 8-speed. And then we do have some stuff for, so like hill descent control, auto stop start, little off-road mode, stability, auto hold, parking brake. And then this one has the, does it have the Trix? Yeah, it's got the Trix center console. Pretty cool, right? Good storage space inside too. Nice trim all over the dash, of course. Again, it's a fancy car, right? Nice glove box. I like this with the line that goes to the vent. I think that's pretty cool. Just regular rear view mirror, and then we've got a normal sized sunroof. So it's kind of hard to see the window sticker here, but 2025 RX 350, 59,455 is the total MSRP on this particular one. And let's see how it performs. Let's set off in the RX 350. I'm driving this back to back with a 500H, so interesting mental comparison I'll be able to make with them, because the 350 here has the same powertrain as the, man, that transmission selection was slow. I was trying to reverse that person and it's like it, anyways, yeah, same powertrain, different transmission, 6-speed versus 8-speed, and then hybrid versus non-hybrid. I will tell you right off the bat, this already doesn't feel quite as like punchy, even through the parking lot, which is crazy. But there is definitely a perceivable difference. So cool that I'm able to note that right off the bat. Aside from that, I like this interior quite a bit. It's got some nice trim throughout. Lexus does a good job with their interiors, whether it's like a more baseline car like this or a crazy loaded up one. They're always pretty nice. Turn that down a little bit. Smooth ride. Smooth ride. It doesn't really feel like it drives too much different from the 500H with the suspension. It's just the torque difference is a lot bigger than you think. I mean, you look at the power figures on paper and it's like mid 3s for the hybrid. This is, you know, lower 3s for the torque. But it really does, again, I think because the electric assist, it really does make a pretty big difference right off the bat. Man, I wish more automakers would, man, they need to just like get into these Lexus, these modern Lexus cars, because if other automakers kind of did surfaces like this, a lot of the complaints that I have with them wouldn't be there. Like the glare that you get in a lot of cars, and then also how the surfaces just wear so quickly. Like this stuff, you can tell it's not necessarily the highest, you know, nicest material ever, but it just has a durable feel to it. Yeah, nice ride. Yeah, it's quite smooth. Again, I am noticing a big torque deficit. And, you know, I will say, compared to the old V6, this is no slouch. It seems like it gets on just fine. And braking's not too bad either. Yeah, I'd say they did a pretty good job with the driving dynamics. I still, man, I wish they would have kept, in some ways I wish they would have kept the V6. Finally gonna be able to get our acceleration here. So we'll pop over the train tracks and, oh yeah, it's a big difference. It's not bad, but it is extremely noticeable. The acceleration difference that this has versus what you see in the 500H. So in summary, I think the RX is a solid luxury car. The four cylinder is solid. It's got enough power. I think the one downside about turbo 4 cylinders is and this is a really good turbo 4 cylinder, but they're just not quite as smooth as a, you know, NA V6. Power figures might be the same, But you know, the NAV6 a little bit smoother. But this, you do get a little bit more grunt on the low end, which is nice. But I don't know, I think I'd rather trade low end grunt for just a little bit more of a linear power band. But like I said, this is, for 4 cylinders, it's pretty darn good. Glad they didn't do a little 2-liter. Those are the worst. But let me know your thoughts on the Lexus RX 350.